I'm Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. In fact, we're going to be talking about planets that could light up your life right now, because if you've been looking at my website, which is now back up and running, you would already know that the title of tonight's show is Joining Forces. And it's with the idea that it takes two. You know, joining forces means you join with somebody else. And that is exactly, in an amazing way, what 4 pairs of planets are doing in the heavens today. And that means there's 10 planets up there. 8 of them, in 4 pairs, are each conjuncting a planet, another planet. And a conjunction cannot be broken. A conjunction occurs when 2 planets going along in their orbits, and they're all direct in the month of March, so they're all going forward, come up to an alignment where the measurement between the degrees where they're located is 7 degrees or less. And so it means they're in almost perfect alignment. And in fact, of the 4 pair of planets that are conjuncting today, 2 of them are in perfect alignment because they're at exactly the same degree. And so their power cannot be broken no matter what. And so we need to take a look at that, because that could affect all of us very positively right now. So if you were sort of thinking of making a new start, particularly since next week we're going to be talking about a new moon solar eclipse in Aries, which rules new starts. So if you're thinking of that right now, you may be thinking of somebody else that you could join forces with, so that you could move ahead with a plan or a goal of yours. And this is timely. That is an excellent idea. And the planets are really going to help you out right now. So first of all, let's review where they are. The planets, all 10 of them, are in only 4 consecutive signs in your chart. So that's 1/3 of your chart. And that means that the planets are each in a different element, and none of them are trining each other. But they are all going forward, and 8 of them are conjuncting. I don't think I've ever seen a time when 80% of the planets were in conjunctions all at the same time. And that is a very rare configuration. And that is why this is an excellent time to join forces. So let's begin at the beginning with the first pair of 2 planets that are in conjunction. This pair is in perfect conjunction. They are in perfect alignment. And it is that there is the moon in Aquarius today at 2 degrees, and it is precisely conjuncting Pluto in Aquarius also at 2 degrees. Pluto is a planet that rules Scorpio. It rules sort of the captains of industry. It rules people that are powerful, and they are generally in upper management in large corporations, government agencies, or institutions. And the moon rules women. So this powerful conjunction in Aquarius, the sign of the future, is an indication that there can be a woman who may be head of an organization or head of something, and she may have a plan or an idea for the future which can help a lot of people, and it may have something to do with a financial situation, since Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, and Scorpio is one of the 2 financial signs. And so this person could be somebody like the head of the World Court that makes a decision, or maybe the head of the European Union who decides to make a decision that is dealing with a financial matter that if people join forces, it could represent a very timely solution to a problem that needs a little help in the future. So do you see how that conjunction can be working? And so it doesn't just mean that it has to be a woman, but it would be somebody who was in a powerful position that had a real feeling of wanting to help others in the future. And then we move to the sign of Pisces, which is the next sign after Aquarius. And in Pisces, which is the strongest sign in the heavens right now, because it has 4 planets in there, there are 2 pair of conjuncting planets. And so that means there's 4 planets in Pisces. And so the first pair that we come up to are Mars, which is conjuncting Saturn. Mars is at 9 degrees of Pisces. Saturn is at 15 degrees of Pisces. And so they're within that 7-degree orb of alignment. And Mars and Saturn are 2 malefic planets. And they are in the sign of Pisces, which is a double-bodied sign, and so it can rule extreme creativity and charity, or it can rule escape through alcoholism, drug addiction, or sexual promiscuity, and it does rule hidden or covert things behind the scenes. And since Mars and Saturn are 2 malefic planets, they're conjuncting each other, not at the same degree, but very close. It would indicate a person who was willing to do anything, particularly something cruel, behind the scenes, in order to get what they want. And so it reminds me of a painting, a very famous painting that you may want to look at, sort of a scary painting, by the master Spanish artist Goya, and that's spelled G-O-Y-A. And Goya did a painting called Saturn Devouring His Children. And that is a perfect illustration of what Mars and Saturn conjuncting each other in Pisces could represent. So we're looking at something pretty bad. And what it represents perhaps is somebody in a position that the picture shows an old scraggly man with a child in his hand getting ready to eat it. It's Saturn devouring his children. Saturn is the planet of time and old age. And so that was Goya's comment on the way society was looking to him at the time that he painted that. But it's equally true whenever Mars and Saturn would be conjuncting in Pisces, which does rule things behind the scenes. So it would depict somebody who was willing to use their own children to get what they want from somebody. And it would be to fulfill their greed or their urge to dominate or control. And if they could use their own children in some way to get what they want, they would do it. Okay, so there's somebody around like that now. And the question is, will they succeed? Because they would be almost mad or depraved, or just a little crazy, consumed with their own greed or their own need to control, and willing to use anybody to get what they wanted. And so that's possible now. Even on the world stage, you may see a world leader who is willing to use any instrument of cruelty, including hurting children, in order to get what they want. And before our very eyes, we could see people like that. And so the question is, will they succeed? And the answer is, not at this time. And they may succeed in some small way, but not at this time. And the reason why is there's another conjunction in Pisces. Remember, there's 4 planets there. And so the third pair of these conjuncting planets that we're talking about is the best conjunction that you will probably ever see in your life. And that's why somebody could really go for getting what they want right now and sacrificing anything, even their own children, to use others to get what they want. So that can be going on. But the problem or the solution, which could save all of us, is because Venus, the planet of love and partnership and the law, is at 28 degrees of Pisces today, and it is precisely, it's one of these conjunctions that is at the same degree, so boy, you couldn't break this if you tried. It is precisely conjuncting Neptune, the ruler of the sign, also at 28 degrees. So Neptune is the strongest planet in the heavens because it's the only one at home in the sign it rules right now. And Venus, when Venus conjuncts Neptune in anybody's chart, I mean, if it happens in your chart, you are a lucky person, because a Venus-Neptune conjunction represents your highest ideal. You know, it could be a person that you do want to join forces with that represents a precious dream of yours, or simply somebody who is the best that you can think of, that represents the things that you really admire. And so we need to look at the degree that these two planets in perfect alignment are at, and it's 28th degree. When we reduce numbers, we add their digits. So if we're reducing 28, we're going to add 2 plus 8, and that equals 10. But it's still a double-digit number. So then we add 1 plus 0, and it equals 1. And 1 is the number of new beginnings. And that is where the solar eclipse is occurring in Aries, the sign of new beginnings, next week. And so if you are thinking of joining forces with anybody right now, aim high. Go for the person that you think would be the best person ever for you to join forces with, and do it. Make a new beginning. And do it with somebody that you think is just the best for you. And go forward. Even if they represent a precious dream you've kept secretly in your heart for years, do it. Because this is the beginning of what you might call a perfect partnership or a perfect dream. And it can come true. I mean, this conjunction is very rare, but look at it, it's exact. I mean, it sort of means business. And it's happening behind the scenes, but it's at 28 degrees. Those planets are going to go into Aries. The solar eclipse is in Aries next week. This is the perfect time to join forces with somebody that you think would be just your perfect partner, because they would be. And together, you would be able to defeat people who just are full of their own greed, and they want to control and consume even their loved ones around them in order to get what they want. But not at this time, because of the perfect conjunction of Neptune and Venus in Pisces. So that's your way out of trouble. And it is so miraculous, and Pisces rules miracles, that I've been looking at this for a while, and I can't believe it either, but it's there. And that's what it means. And so you just need, even if you're shy, you got to just sort of go forward right now and find that precious dream. Join forces with them. You will never be sorry. Venus conjunct Neptune. You'd be going for the best. But maybe they think the same thing of you. Have you thought about that? Maybe the dream that you have is the same dream they have. Maybe they're dreaming of you as much as you're dreaming of them. And this is the time to go forward and make that dream come true. Because, oh boy, nothing's stopping you. So, we need to go on. And we need to ask ourselves, well, why could all this be happening? I mean, is it really going to be successful? Yes, it is. And the reason why somebody who is depraved right now, consumed with their own ambition, the reason they're not going to make it is because there's money around for the dream. Just believe in it now. But there's money to back it up. And that is because there is a fourth conjunction of planets. Remember I said there was 4 pairs. Well, the 4th pair is in Taurus, a fixed financial sign. And it is because Jupiter is at 18 degrees of Taurus today, and it is conjuncting Uranus at 21 degrees. There's 3 degrees difference, but that's within the 7-degree range of a conjunction. They're conjuncting. And so that simply means it's Taurus rules investments. This could be a time when investments suddenly rise, or the value of them could suddenly rise. And this could be concerning the things that Taurus rules, commercial real estate, or high-priced real estate, or even high-priced art. Or it can simply rule your investments, anybody's investments throughout the world. And it rules the results of things that are of high quality and that take a lot of precise work. Taurus rules Germany. And one thing that Germany is noted for is excellent engineering. I mean, they put something together, it works. And they're serious about that. Taurus also rules Israel. It rules the New York Stock Exchange. And so, you know, there could be more money around. That's why it's a good time to join forces. And even if somebody is finagling or threatening or trying to control a situation only to feed their own greed, even to the point of using their children to do it, they may get some money, but they won't succeed completely. And the reason why is that the perfect conjunction of Venus and Neptune and the Moon and Pluto. Remember, there's 2 pairs of conjuncting planets. That means 4 planets that are at the same degree in their conjunction. Impossible to break it. And there's money around. You know, Taurus sextiles Pisces. So the planets in Pisces are being sextiled by the planets in Taurus. And that covers 3 of the conjunctions right there. Because there's 2 conjunctions in Pisces, 1 in Taurus and 1 in Aquarius. Okay, so I'm sorry this is going on so long, but I thought, you know, this is rather good news for everybody. And I hope you take advantage of it. Because, you know, if you've been thinking of something or someone for a long time, or you have a precious goal, or you want to make a new beginning, the timing couldn't be better. Go for it. I urge you to. All right. What does this mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, the solar eclipse is in your sign next week, which is great. But for right now, Aries, there's an awful lot going on in the background of your life, but almost more than you can handle, because your ruler, Mars, is right behind your sun sign in Pisces, where there are actually 4 planets, 2 pair of conjuncting planets, and one of them is your own ruler, involves your own ruler, Mars, because Mars is now conjuncting Saturn in Pisces right behind your sun sign. And it is something that could bring out the worst, either in you or someone around you, Aries. And if it's somebody around you, they could sort of sneak up on you, or they could want to stab you in the back right now. And for some reason, they could have a grudge, or they could just have a lot of greed. Maybe they think you owe them money. Whatever it is, Aries, I would have my defenses up real high right now if I were you, because Pisces rules things hidden behind the scenes. You may not be able to see them coming. And so if I were you, I would exercise extreme caution this week, Aries. There are no other planets in the fire signs. There's nothing backing up your sign, but you do have the Sun and Mercury in your sign. And that is a precursor to the solar eclipse that's coming into your sign next week. And we'll talk about that on next week's show. But you really should just stop holding on to the past, Aries. You should be headed forward. This solar eclipse is going to do you a lot of good. So if you have any suspicion that there are people around that are holding an old grudge and would do just about anything to please themselves and make your life miserable, you need to get away from them right now. But you could also join forces with a really great partner. And together you could start something new. And the reason why is that the other conjunction in Pisces, which once again is right behind your sun sign, is Neptune and Venus conjuncting. Meaning that the ideal partner, you know, it's like you're looking at the worst of something and also looking at the best of something. But they're not the same thing. In terms of a person, it's a person that's at their worst and probably has been for a long time, and another person who's at their best or finest. And it's up to you, Aries, to make a decision right about now about how you want to go forward and who you want to go forward with. Because I'm sure you're going forward, Aries. And I urge you to leave the past behind and get going in a new direction. And try to aim really high. Look for somebody you can join forces with that you really admire. It'll make you happy. And it'll get you away from somebody else who's not very good for you, but that person belongs to your past and you should leave them there. And so I hope you think about that, Aries, because you've got a great solar eclipse coming up in your sign next week. You need to just sit down and be real honest with yourself. about how badly you want to get away from your past and go straight toward your future, because that is the direction you should be going in. Do not listen to anybody else that really is only considering what they want, not what you want. Do not even consider them. You know, close the door, hang up the phone, don't talk to them, because they're not part of your future. And your future's starting real quick. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Taurus? Taurus. Remember I said that there's a pretty good conjunction in your sign right now, Taurus. It is Jupiter at 18 degrees conjuncting Uranus in your sign at 21 degrees, and both planets are direct. They have no support. There's nothing in the other Earth signs, but that's a real close conjunction. And so, Taurus, I have good news for you. I think there's more money on your horizon, or maybe you already know that. There could be an excellent opportunity for you to join forces on some new endeavor that you have been thinking about behind the scenes, because the Aries solar eclipse next week is going to be right behind your sun sign. So there may be some more money around for you right now, Taurus, for you to start something new that you have had your mind on for a while. And I would say that is certainly good news for you. Or it can be that the value of your investments have risen and you could sell something now at a bit more profit than you were originally anticipating. And that could give you what you need in order to go forward and make a new beginning. But remember that the show is titled Joining Forces. And that's because of this rare and very fortunate Venus Neptune conjunction in Pisces. Behind the scenes, there may be somebody that you've already thought of as a pretty good partner, or somebody that wants to work with you, or somebody that you like, that you would like to be with a little bit more. This is a very good time for you to consider that. And if you were thinking of starting something new, I think you're going to have the money to do it, Aries or Taurus. It may not be all the money that you want, but I would take advantage of the rise in value of some of your investments right now and do something with the profit if I were you, because that could help you out. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, remember I said that the moon today and Pluto are exactly conjuncting each other at 2 degrees in Aquarius. Well, they are exactly trining your sun, Gemini, and the Libra sun. So there is the possibility that you would have the opportunity soon to start something new with somebody who is head of their own organization, or they're in upper management somewhere, or they have a lot of experience, they have a good track record, and they may be wanting to do something and with you. And if I were you, Gemini, I would listen to them and consider whatever they have to say. And it could be a woman, because the moon rules women, and it is exactly conjunct Pluto. So it can be to your advantage at least to listen to somebody who's got some pretty good ideas about the future. And they may have ideas about the future that have to do with helping others or saving others in some way, something that's good for the world. And you would be wise to listen to them, Gemini, because they would probably want to join forces with you. A Gemini is absolutely excellent at communication, and they're very adaptable and flexible, and they can do 2 things at the same time. It's amazing. I don't know how they do it, but a Gemini is so flexible they can spend part of their time on one thing and squeeze in part of their time for another thing too. You're so naturally good at that, Gemini. You may as well consider taking on something new, or at least listening to somebody who's got some new ideas. That solar eclipse in Aries sextiles your sun, and Jupiter is conjuncting Uranus in Taurus right behind your sun sign. There's more money coming to you from somewhere, Gemini. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you exactly when, but I would say that it is on its way. The money is on its way. So even if it's not in your hand now, I think it's coming. and you would have an opportunity to do something with that, particularly if you join forces with somebody, because that is what is highlighted right now. And it could be somebody who is in a strong position to work with you in one way or another. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Cancer. Well, Cancer, there's 4 planets in Pisces, all trining your sun. The sign is loaded. And so, you need to look before you leap, though, Cancer, because there are 2 pair of planets that are conjuncting. One of them is Mars and Saturn in Pisces, and they are not in exact conjunction, but they are conjuncting, and they are trining your sun. So you may be involved, if not directly, then indirectly. In other words, you could live near somebody or know somebody who is a little bit sick in the head, is so consumed with their own greed and their own need to control and dominate that they would even use their own children to get what they want. Okay, so I would say there is somebody with what you might call a cruel streak in them, and they're around you somewhere. And that's because those 2 planets are trining your sun. So I would say they're in the vicinity somewhere in your life. And if you don't know them, lucky you. But they could be around you. And so you need to protect yourself against them, Cancer. They're not good for you. They're not your type. And the reason why you can protect yourself from them is because of the other 2 planets or pair that are in Pisces and are also trining your sun. And this is one of the best conjunctions you'll ever see in your life. And it is between Venus at 28 degrees of Pisces, precisely conjuncting Neptune, the ruler of the sign, also at 28 degrees, and both of them trining your sun and the Scorpio sun. So you are at more than a crossroads, Cancer. You're sort of beyond the crossroads, and you really should be going in a new direction, but that direction would come first by joining forces with somebody who is your ideal. And that's because Venus conjunct Neptune represents high idealism. And somebody that you think is a really wonderful person could be coming your way. Or you, in some way you could meet them. And they could be somebody that you've had in your mind or your heart or on your wish list for a very long time. And the surprising thing is, the miraculous thing is, you could have been on their list too. It's very harmonious. And so you need to get away from people who are bothering you, the people that are not your type. You need to end something and end it quickly and get away from them because they're not in your league, Cancer. They don't have your temperament. They don't have your concerns. Anybody that would use their own kids as an excuse to get money out of somebody, they're not your type, Cancer. Your sign rules home and family. And so what you need to do is go forward and join forces with somebody who is your ideal. And there is a possibility that they could represent a precious dream, so they may be involved in something that is a precious dream that you've had for a long time, and that joining forces with them would make the dream come true and probably bring you divine happiness. Better than anything you've ever known before. So why would you wait? You don't need to. It's staring at you, Cancer and Scorpio. This conjunction of Venus and Neptune in Pisces is miraculous, but I would call it almost magical. I mean, it's like, I don't know where it's coming from, but it's here. And it's just right for you. So good luck. Okay. What does it mean to a Leo? Leo. Well, there's something for everybody these days. No, there isn't a pair of planets that are trining your sun which are conjuncting, but there are 2 planets that are trining your sun, and it's the Sun and Mercury in Aries, which are trining your sun, and the solar eclipse is going to be in Aries next week, also trining your sun, Leo. That's a green light, Leo, for you to make a new start. And it's going to be an auspicious one. It will be quite fortunate for you. And so, you know, Leo, if you are wanting to be the boss on something, I would reconsider right now and instead join forces with somebody else who also has good ideas and wants to work with you. Okay? And I know that Leos like to be the captain of the team. They like to be the boss. You know, unless you are just crazy about doing all the work yourself, Leo, you might take a more conciliatory attitude and understand that this is a time right now when in order for you to make a new beginning, you're going to need some help. Unless you want to do all the work yourself. And then, are you really talented enough for that, Leo? I mean, it's like the captain of the football team going out and saying to the other 10 guys on the team, oh, goodbye, I'll win the game by myself. That is impossible. It takes a team. So, Leo, sure, somebody has to be the boss sooner or later. But I would say that if you're starting something new, which you are aspected to succeed at right now, if I were you, I would go in with an attitude of, okay, let's work well together on something. Because you have no idea where that will lead. You are aspected for a new beginning. And I think it is just exactly what you need, Leo. You need to go forward. Pluto in Capricorn, in Aquarius, along with the moon, in perfect conjunction, both at 2 degrees, are opposing your sun sign. There is a powerful woman. She's going to go her own way, Leo. She's not coming your way. And it's not that she needs to be telling other people what to do. It's not that she wants to be, or it could be a man, wants to be the captain of the team. It's that they want to get something done in the future. They're looking toward the future. And you may want to do something that is more familiar, where you are in control of it because it is familiar and you want others to join you. That's okay. But I would soften my approach a little bit right now because you don't want to offend anybody either. That wouldn't get a new start off the ground very well. And also, Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, which are conjuncting each other, are squaring your sun. And I would say, Leo, this is a very good time for you not to scare away the money by exerting too many demands or too much control. You know, work and play well with others right now if you want to get a new beginning off the ground, Leo. It'll do you a lot of good. And you do have natural leadership ability, but you have to have a team to be a leader. And if you don't have a team, that's the first step. You got to go out and join forces first. So I hope you just try that. And you're aspected to succeed at that, so good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Virgo. Virgo, this is a time when I think that everybody can have the opportunity right now to start something new or to plan to go forward in their future. And sometimes, particularly to the earth signs, they would think, well, you got to have the money first. Well, Jupiter is conjuncting Uranus, that's powerful conjunction, in Taurus, and they are both trining your sun, Virgo. That's pretty good. And that simply means that there could be more money around. It might be due to the fact that since your sign rules accounting and it rules banking, excuse me, it simply means there could be a little more money around than you thought. Maybe your investments are worth more. Maybe you have had the opportunity, or you're thinking of the opportunity of selling something and maybe purchasing something else or reinvesting that money in some way. You could do that too. But there are 4 planets in Pisces, and they're divided into 2 pairs that are conjuncting each other. One of them is something that you really need to watch out for now, Virgo, and it is that Mars and Saturn are conjuncting each other in Pisces and opposing your sun sign. in a way that sort of means somebody pretty cruel, or somebody who's consumed with their own greed, or wants to take control in some way. What you might call a bad customer is, they're wanting to control you, Virgo. They're wanting to make your life miserable, okay? Now the only question, and that's the way they are, okay? You're not going to change them, Virgo. That is the way they are. And so, will they succeed? That's the only question you can ask right now, because they're around. Will they succeed? Not at this time. But they'd want to. They'd want to succeed. There's somebody around that either wants your money or they want to make your life miserable, Virgo. They want to change things. They want to control you. They'd even use their own children against you to make your life miserable right now. Okay, so if you happen to be thinking of somebody like that that's already in your life, Virgo, why are they in your life? You need to say goodbye immediately, because they don't have your best interest at heart. They have their best interest at heart, and they've got a cruel streak in them, and you need to watch out for that. The minute that somebody is saying something to you that doesn't add up and that seems pretty one-sided, you need to excuse yourself, tell somebody that you've got an appointment, and just get away and leave. Don't pay any attention to them. That's what they want. They want to control you. So don't let them. Because the other conjunction is sublime, and it also is in Pisces. And that is Venus conjuncting Neptune in Pisces at 28 degrees and also opposing your sun sign. So if you want to join forces with somebody who is an ideal person for you, or who wants to work on a project that is sort of a dream project of yours, you're going to have to reach out to them, Virgo. And I would if I were you. They would be worth it. They would be worth it. And Virgos can always cite everything they do wrong, or why they're not perfect, or a little mistake that they made somewhere in their life. And you know, this really good person who thinks quite well of you doesn't want to hear that. They just want to join forces with you. Isn't that simple, Virgo? It's so simple. Why don't you do it? Why don't you go ahead? Why don't you stop living in the shadows of your unhappiness and get away from the people that are making you unhappy? And I mean permanently away from them. Say goodbye and mean it, Virgo. And because you can't escape everything, but you can ignore them. And then go right towards somebody who thinks the world of you. And you know, you could say, oh, they think that I'm better than I am. Well, keep it to yourself, Virgo, because if that's the way they think, let them. Because maybe they're right. Did you consider that, Virgo? Virgos like to be right, but really all the time, you don't need that. This is a good time to join forces, and I hope you do that. And there could be some extra money around to do that. Remember that trine from the planets in Taurus. So if I were you, I would turn over a new leaf, Virgo, and stop listening to the people that are running you down. Listen to somebody who also knows what they're talking about, and they think you're a pretty great person. And they're not changing their minds. They're sort of waiting for you to join them. And this is the right time to join forces, so I hope you do. Say yes. You'll love it. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra. This is a time, Libra, when with the moon and Pluto in Aquarius trining your sun, and you just had the lunar eclipse in your sign last week, but now the trine from Pluto, that conjunction of Pluto and the moon in Aquarius, is precise. It's exact. You can't break it. So Libra, there is a woman around somewhere in your life, or a person who has empathy for you. Could be a man, but also has empathy for you, understands you pretty well, and you know, they have sort of high goals, or they have sort of a mission they want to accomplish, or they're thinking of others, not just of themselves. And they like you very much, Libra. And so this is a time when you should consider joining forces with them. And they may be a person who is so focused on the future that they can bring you out of the shadows of your past and into the future. And that's exactly where you're going anyway, Libra, because there's a solar eclipse in your sign in October that's going to be wonderful for you. And you have to get there. So somebody, this Moon-Pluto conjunction in Aquarius, which is exact and trining your sun, is an indication that somebody with authority or is in upper management and is thinking ahead in the future, they're very attracted to you. And you just need to go right into the future and start listening to them. How do you know where that will end? But it'll take you into tomorrow, Libra. And that's where you need to be. Because going into the future is the only way to get out of the past. And that's what we all need to do. A major planet has changed into the sign of the future. Pluto went into Aquarius. It's going to stay there. Its orbit is a little erratic. It can go retrograde at times. But for the next 17 to 20 years, there is this dynamic planet that is a real slow mover, but it represents honest truth and the power of truth. And it's in the sign of the future. And people who are strong in air signs, they're going to love it. And yours is an air sign, Libra. So I hope you hook up with somebody, join forces with somebody who's got their eyes on tomorrow. And they'll take you right along with them, and I think it'll be great for you. So good luck. Okay, what does it mean to Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is a time when, just like Cancer, you benefit greatly from one of the pair of planets that is conjuncting in Pisces, and even from another one that is conjuncting there, which is represents a person who does not have your best interests at heart. They don't have anybody's best interests at heart. And so, Scorpio, Mars, your own ruler, and Saturn are conjuncting in Pisces and trining your sun. And what that means is that somebody who is extremely greedy, aggressive, has maybe held a grudge for years, or a plan to get their hands on anything they can attach and take, and is even willing to use their own children to get money out of somebody. That is represented by Mars and Saturn, two malefic planets conjuncting in Pisces, which indicates people behind the scenes that are just, they're living in their own world, and it's bleak. Pisces also rules insanity, and it rules suicide, and it rules escape through alcoholism, drug addiction, or sexual promiscuity. And sometimes you don't know who's doing everything like that. But these people, what they're looking for is an easy target. And what I'm saying, Scorpio, is those two planets trine your sun. If there is anybody like that in your life, you need to get rid of them. Because they don't have your best interests at heart. They see you as the victim, their victim. And they're going to keep doing that to you. They're going to keep victimizing you. Why? Because they're greedy, or they want control. And they'll use anybody, including their own children, or their children's interests, to get that. And you don't need people like that in your life. Scorpio, your sign rules survival. Nobody can survive with people like that in their life. You would be horribly affected if you were keeping somebody like that in your life. So if there is somebody like that, you need to get rid of them. And one way to get rid of them is move on. What would you be moving on to? The other two planets that are precisely and exactly conjuncting each other in Pisces are Venus at 28 degrees, conjuncting Neptune at 28 degrees, and both of them are trining your sun. And that represents a precious dream that you may have had for years. and maybe never told anybody about because your sign rules secrecy. But it would be your ideal. Venus conjunct Neptune, high ideal, the best around. And that person might be thinking the same thing about you, Scorpio. This is a beautiful trine. Almost a miraculous, unbelievable conjunction of these two planets, and they're trining your sun and the Cancer sun, and they're in the sign of Pisces. And so the water signs rule healing. And so we all heal in different ways. But the way that Scorpio rules, since it rules medicine and the military, is that it cuts out what's wrong in order to make it a better world. And so if you have somebody in your life that is depicted, if you want to look at that painting by Goya called Saturn Devouring His Children, you're going to get a perfect picture of what somebody could be in your life behind the scenes, but they could be there and wanting to victimize you until you give them everything they want. That is called a sick relationship, and they're the ones that are sick. And you can only heal yourself from the horror of that by cutting them out of your life. That's the only way for you to get better. But on top of that, Neptune and Venus are trining your sun exactly, and that means that there could be a precious dream that's about to come true for you, Scorpio. But you can't have it both ways. You can't tolerate the insane or the greedy and live for a better day and a better world with an ideal partner. You can't do both. So there may be something that you need to cut out of your life, Scorpio, but at the same time, it's in order to have something much, much better in your life. Better than you've ever known. Something you've always dreamed about. Or it could be someone you've always dreamed about. And they're just right for you. And I think possibly you are just right for them. And it's called survival, Scorpio. And this is the right time for you to go forward if you have a precious dream and make it come true. And leave the past behind. Cut it out. It's hurt you enough. In the Bible it says, physician, heal thyself. Well, you can't heal when there's somebody around who's trying to cruelly harm you. And so you have to cut that person out for you to heal and go on to a better life and survive. Possibly in a happier way than you've ever known. And you can do it. Join forces, Scorpio. But do it with the most precious person that you can think of. You will never regret it. Ever. All right, what does it mean to a Sagittarian? Well, Sagittarius. You know, Sagittarius, last week I was sort of thinking you were on a roll. Well, I think you're still there, Sagittarius. But you might have a few bumps in the road as you're going along right now, because there are 4 planets in Pisces, which is the strongest sign in the whole heavens, and they represent 2 pair of planets that are in conjunction. And the first pair of planets is Mars conjuncting Saturn and squaring your sun. And that means that somewhere around in your neighborhood, or in your life, or in the background of your life, or even in your past, Sagittarius, there is somebody around who is just not your type at all. And you may have changed. Maybe at one time you were even friends with them. You may have changed, but they didn't. And you may have grown. You may have become a better person, but they didn't. And there's somebody in your life, Sagittarius, that would like to get you back into your old ways, or to get you to make mistakes, or to get you to make a fool of yourself, or even to do something criminal. And, you know, that's their life. That's not your life, Sagittarius. And it isn't going to be your life. The sun and Mercury are in Aries, trining your sun. You're thinking about a new beginning. Don't let it be with the person that wants to drag you down or drag you back to your past. It's not going to work. Go with somebody who represents a new beginning, because the solar eclipse in Aries trines your sun, and it's happening next week. You have so much to gain by going forward. And you've just got to leave the past behind. But somebody, I mean, you may even have to move out of your neighborhood if there are people around that could be harmful to you. But that seems to be a small price to pay for your own happiness, because you are aspected to start something new. The other two planets in Pisces that are squaring your sun couldn't hurt you if they tried. They are Venus, which is conjuncting Neptune, the ruler of the sign, and they do square your sun. And so that simply means that you could be thinking that, well, everything was okay behind the scenes, but not with Mars and Saturn there. Or you could think good thoughts about somebody, and what I think you should do is take the blinders off, Sagittarius, and see somebody for what they really are, not what you wish they were. And I think there's somebody around that you need to do that with. Because if you look at them the way they really are, you'd have to ask yourself, do they fit in my new beginning? Well, the answer would be no. And so better to decide that now, because you're really going to go and make a new beginning. Or at least there will be an offer. I hope there's nothing in your life that would hold you back from accepting an offer that represents a new beginning, because you ought to do that. A good new beginning, not one that is meant to harm you in any way or threaten you. Don't go for that. But that solar eclipse in Aries next week is going to trine your sun. It's going to do you a world of good, Sagittarius. But I think there's something that you've got to just say goodbye to from the past, or that is around you right now, and maybe you just need to get away. So I hope you do, because there's something much better just right ahead of you, Sagittarius, and you got to go for it. Go for it. You really do. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, this is a time, Capricorn, when you can be a person that is thinking that, well, you're sitting in the grandstand here and you're watching the parade go by. You could be feeling like that right now, because there's a planet that's not in your sign anymore, and it has been for 17 to 20 years, and that's Pluto. Pluto has moved on. It went into Aquarius, and it is now conjuncting the moon. They're both at 2 degrees of Aquarius in precise conjunction, which means that I think, Capricorn, you either know or you are sort of on the verge of knowing somebody who's pretty powerful in an organization, and they're thinking of a future project, or they're thinking of a future goal, and they're pretty good at what they do. And you could consider taking some steps in their direction, Capricorn. That wouldn't be a bad thing, and you might have the money to do it. And the reason why is that there's another conjunction in Taurus, and that is Jupiter conjuncting Uranus right now, and they are trining your sun. And that means that if you wanted to go in a new direction, in a future direction, you would probably already have the money to do that, Capricorn. And this is probably going to be a good time for you to think about that, because the solar eclipse is in Aries next week. Yes, it will square your sun, meaning that making a new beginning would have some problems in it. Well, okay, most new beginnings do. I mean, it's going to happen. Nothing's perfect. But there is the possibility that you may feel like spending some money, good money, on something that you think is really worth it. And it could be in conjunction with somebody else who's got their mind on the future and new things. And that could be quite attractive to you right now, Capricorn. And I would suggest you sort of jump in. Mainly because I think you can afford it. You're not taking a gamble or any kind of a chance. You could say that you just want to start something a little bit. Okay, you can afford it. And there's nothing wrong with trying something out like that. And the reason why is that your ruler, Saturn, is under duress right now, but it's something, it involves something that's happening behind the scenes, because Saturn is being conjuncted by Mars right now. Now the planets in Pisces actually sextile your sun. So do the planets in Aquarius. They both sextile your sun. One's semi-sextile, that's the moon and Pluto in Capricorn, in Aquarius, and then one is sextile, which are the other 4 planets in Pisces. So Mars and Saturn, which are up to no good right now because they're malefic planets conjuncting each other, and Saturn is your own ruler, are in Pisces, things that are going on behind the scenes, but they do sextile your sun. So there can be some problematic thing that's going on in your life right now, Capricorn. And I would say you need to aim higher or look for something better or a better answer somewhere. And that is because also in Pisces are Venus and conjuncting Neptune in Pisces, and they sextile your sun. You see, every single one of us has a chance to rise higher right now and leave the past behind and go forward toward a precious dream or a goal or something we love. Venus is involved. Venus is love. All of us have a chance to do that. And I hope that you consider that, Capricorn, because, you know, these planets all sextile your sun, giving you the opportunity to improve your life if you want to. And on top of that, if you just start a little bit at a time, you have the money, you can afford it without risking too much. You know, Capricorns are risk averse. They don't take risks. But starting something new that can help ease your burdens or solve some problems or going in a new direction, that may represent some hurdles, but it might be the only way out of something else that's really bothering you. And you can afford to go forward. So I would think about that, Capricorn. Just think about it. Because there's something else that's a problem now. And you either need to go around it or you need to find something better to replace it or something. So I wish you the best of luck. Okay, what does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius. This is a time, Aquarius, when I think that you are sort of coming into your own truth right now. And that is because the moon is exactly conjuncting Pluto in your sign. And Pluto rules deep truth and psychological transformation and change. It's a co-ruler of Scorpio. And the other ruler is Mars. Well, Pluto doesn't work like Mars. But Pluto works sort of underneath the surface. It really goes down and finds out what the real truth is. And so, Aquarius, you could be examining your life right now and your feelings. The moon rules our feelings. Pluto is exactly conjunct the moon in your sign. And you could be examining your deepest feelings about somebody or something. And you're thinking of wanting a better future. And the real truth is, are you looking for somebody to give it to you? Or are you looking to increase your power to go out and make a better future for yourself? I think that's why you're going to go, Aquarius. Aquarians are not afraid to try new things. It rules invention. Aquarians have a million ideas. It's just natural. They pop into their head all the time. Aquarians are very creative, but it's a fixed sign. And so you may be saying to yourself, well, I've got to stay on the straight and narrow here, and because, gee whiz, I don't want to lose any money. I don't want to risk anything right now. And Jupiter is conjuncting Uranus and Taurus, and they are squaring your sun, and Uranus is your own ruler. So you may feel that there's just not enough money for you to go forward yourself and do things your way. Well, then why don't you join forces, Aquarius? Okay? You might have some money. Maybe somebody else has some money. Join forces. Or else, you could be willing to do some of the work, and somebody else could be willing to do some of the work, so join forces. There's nothing wrong with that. Or you could keep doing things the same old way, and you'd be walking into trouble. because Mars is conjuncting Saturn in Pisces right ahead of your sun sign, and there are troubled people around now. And they are not considering anybody else's viewpoints or their feelings. They just know what they want and they want to grab it. And they'll do anything to get what they want. So you want to go down that road, Aquarius? You want to know those kind of people? They're not going to do you any good. And they want to rob you of your power. And this is a time in your life when you're just coming into your power. It doesn't matter how old you are or how young. Pluto is now in your sign. It's your power that counts. It's your talent. And if you go forward and you join forces with somebody, that's going to be better for you. It'll be better because somebody else can give you sort of their divine inspiration. That's because Venus is conjuncting Neptune in Pisces, right ahead of your sun sign. There is somebody real good out there for you, Aquarius. Very talented. You're ideal. You just need to get out of your rut and go find them. Or if you know who they are, you need to make contact. Because Jupiter is coming into Gemini on May 26th, and it's going to be trining your sun, and there's going to be all kinds of rather easy opportunities that can come your way. You still need to join forces. Because you can't handle everything yourself, Aquarius. Nobody can. That's what Venus conjunct Neptune means. It means join up with your highest ideal. Whether it's a person or a goal or a plan, and it involves the future. And that's what your sign rules. You know, you're going to have tremendous opportunities coming up this year. And every year, for several years. And you're always going to need to join forces because nobody can do all the work themselves. Nobody even wants to do all the work themselves. Think about sort of getting around the people that aren't doing you any good and head right for the ones that are the best you can find. And that will put you on the road to your own future success. And this is the right time to do that. So I wish you the best of luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time, Pisces, when I don't think you're at a Y in the road anymore. I think that you're looking at something in your life where you can see the harm that some people do, and you can see the best of others. And because yours is a double-bodied sign, you can see both of these things. You probably have friends in sort of both camps, Pisces. And the problem is you can get in a whole lot of trouble with people who don't have your best interests at heart right now, because Mars is conjuncting Saturn in your own sign. You could trip yourself up, Pisces. You could just go down the wrong path even once and really regret it. And so I wouldn't do that if I were you. Temptation could be staring you in the face, and boy, you better turn around and run the other way. Because you'd be biting off more than you can chew, and it would be all trouble with Mars and Saturn in your sign. And they're conjuncting, but they aren't even at the same degree yet. When they are, it's going to be horrible. It's already horrible, but it's going to get worse. However, in the same instance, there is Venus conjuncting Neptune, your own ruler, in your sign precisely. Nothing can break that. It is, you know, Pisces, you could walk straight toward the best person you have ever known in your whole life or want to know, and you can make a connection to them. I mean, talk about aiming high. Why shouldn't you? It's your life. It's your dreams. It's your future. Future, I said, not past. You know, all of us pretty much have to leave the past behind. We have to turn a corner. And part of it is because there's some things in the past that aren't too good, and if we want to survive that, we've got to move forward. And part of it is because nobody can live in the past. Everybody changes, people change, times change, the world changes, and so what we've got left is tomorrow, the future. And Pisces, you have this divine conjunction happening in your sign between Venus, the planet of love, peace, partnership, and the law, and Neptune, the planet of very high idealism, dreams. And it can be dreams about how to make it a better world, dreams about how to heal, dreams about how to survive cruelty and sadness and depression and desolation. And those dreams are good too, because if we're dreaming about how to escape them, it means we want to move forward. And that's what you should do, Pisces. Move forward. There may be people in your life that live in the shadows, and you should not live with them, Pisces. And so you'll have to leave the shadows and head into the light. And the best thing that's ever happened to you in your life is in the light. And you need to go for it right now, Pisces. This is a magical, miracle time with Venus and Neptune, your own ruler, conjuncting each other perfectly at 28 degrees, which reduces to 10, which reduces to 1, the number of new beginnings. You think that's a big hint, Pisces, that you've got to make a new beginning, and you've got to do it at your highest level, and with the best people you can find? Well, that's the message, Pisces. If you turn your back on that, you will regret it. But if you go forward, you will never regret it. So, it's your choice, Pisces. There's only one good choice, and I hope you take it. It could make you happy for the rest of your life. So I wish you the best. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm sorry that this took so long, but it's a very important time. All of those things that I was talking about are happening today. And they can be influencing your actions today and in the future. So I hope you take things into consideration and then do what you think is best for yourself. But remember, aim high, because you can. You can succeed. So I'll see you next week. And remember, if you'd like to subscribe to my Karen Campbell YouTube channel and tell your friends about that, I'd really appreciate it. And now you can also read my blog on my website, because it's back up too. That way you'll learn a little bit more about what is the theme of every week's show. And until then, I'll see you next week. Bye.